Really good offense for Oakville, Alabama against a really strong defense in Alexander, and I want to see how this matchup takes place today.
Yes, Oakfield comes into this game with a 5-1 record. Their record consists of wins over wins over Cuba Rushford by the score of 59-6. Win over Geneseo Mount Morris 42-18. A win over Canisteo Greenwood 40-7. A win over York Pavilion 54-0, and then most recently a win over Avon 37-7. Their only loss was actually a surprise loss to Bolivar Richburg, where they lost that game 14-8. Switching over to Alexander, as I mentioned, they also have a record of 5-1, but they were lucky just to squeeze in as the number 4 seed based on sectional points. Their wins come over Clyde Savannah 30-12, Cal Mum Byron Burgeon 35-6, Notre Dame 14-6. Cuba Rushford 30-0. They also got a forfeit from Lions, and their only loss is to Avon 21-0. You are listening to the Ken Barrett Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show. We're going to take a 3-minute break and come back and provide you with more pregame information regarding this big game.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
We want to thank everyone for doing their part in these challenging times.
No matter where we work from, we're still here protecting you and your family's rights.
We want you to know that we will always be here for you and your family.
Using our technology so we can protect you and your family no matter where we are.
Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys.
Stadium for New York State Section 5 Class D Semifinals. And let's introduce the teams right now in the end zone closest to the road. The number 4 seed, the visiting Alexander Trojans. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your Section 5 Class D number 1 seed getting ready in their respective end zone, ready to come out. Just grabbed the number 1 seed last week with a win over Avon, your Oakfield, Alabama, Alba Aggies.
Welcome back, everyone. We're at Vendetta Stadium. Paul Spiana and Dan Drummy here. We're still in our pregame show as the teams have been introduced. And Dan, as I was mentioning, both teams come in with records of 5-1. I was trying to look at their common opponents to see if there's any superiority that we need to look at. There's only 2 common opponents to talk about, and that would be that they've each played Cuba Rushford with big wins over Cuba Rushford. Each team has. And Avon, Oakfield just came off a 37-7 win over Avon, but it was my understanding that Avon had some pretty key injuries in that game that could have contributed to that lopsided score, whereas Alexander has shut out by Avon. So what's your thoughts on that?
I really just want to see which guys are going to step up tonight for Alexander, because I know how strong of an offense, especially OAE has, especially with that running back and timeout. So I want to see if they can contain him in that versatile offense they have.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, timeout number 15 for the Aggies comes into this game with 1,383 yards in just 6 games of action. So obviously that computes to well over 200 yards a game. 21 touchdowns on the season. Just a phenomenal season for timeout. And as you mentioned, they definitely have to key on him and stop him if there's any chance for them to stay in this game.
And it's not just him. It's guys like Abe Armbruster and other guys on the outside who also make this offense just so challenging to stop. And that's why I want to see if Alexander can contain those guys and keep their quarterback in the pocket.
Definitely something to look for. It looks like they're going to break for a national anthem, Jeff. So we're going to break for 3 minutes here. Once again, you're listening to the Ken Barrett Chevrolet Cadillac pregame show on WBTA Radio and Varsity Sports Media Network.
Both squads have their captains out on the field. For the OAE Aggies is number 50, Peyton Yassis. For the Alexander Trojans is number 24, Devin Dean. Both seniors. Coin toss just happened there. Our officials for this afternoon's contest, the head referee is Leo Rhodes, umpire Peter Lagores, linesman Don Warham, line judge Mark Mazzetti, and back judge Jim Maxwell. Thank you, gentlemen.
Welcome back, everyone, to high school football on WBTA Radio and Varsity Media Sports Network. Paul Spiata and Dan Drumley. We just had the coin toss, Dan, and it was won by the Aggies. The captains representing each team today for Oakfield, Alabama Elbows, number 50, Peyton Yassis. And for the Alexander Trojans, it was number 24, Devin Dean. But as I mentioned, the Aggies won the toss and did elect to receive the kickoff for today's game.
I'm excited to see Ty Mock. I've seen him on stream, but I want to see him here in person just to see how dynamic he is a player today.
Well, he definitely has some speed to the outside. He's got some very good cutback moves from what I've seen earlier this season. It's just a matter of whether this Alexander defense, which does look good statistically, whether they will be able to have enough on defense to stop him and force the Aggies to do something different. What I was going to mention to you, Dan, is one game, I believe it was against Canisteo Greenwood, the Aggies went the entire game without attempting a pass.
Wow. Well, I know that OAE is a very strong run-heavy offense, so, and when you have guys, like you mentioned, Ty Smith and Armbruster and Hughes and company, you have that ability to just rely on the run.
It's number 9, Eric Klein, set to kick off. Back deep for the Aggies, number 2, Zach Howard. And that, trying to see who else that is. He's bent over. having a problem right now seeing which number that is, but we'll certainly clarify that if he indeed
Airfield showers
receives
bring
today's
late
kickoff.
bloomers, ladies and gentlemen. We're patient people.
A little bit of delay here as the ball blew off the tee. I'm trying to look at the flag here. There's not too much wind here today at Vendetta Stadium, and the rain has let up, so it looks like a great afternoon for football. And there's the kick. It's a squib kick, and it's going to be picked up by number 24, Ty Cornell, and he will fall on the ball, and the Aggies will start 1st and 10 from their own 38-yard line.
Really good starting field position. I want to see see if Alexander can now hold them to keep us a quick 3 and out.
So good idea right there for the Trojans to keep the ball away from the deep backs on the kickoff, and as a result, the Aggies now 1st and 10 from the 38-yard line. Their quarterback is freshman Bodie Hyde, and his primary responsibility is to get that ball to those running backs. And there's a handoff to Mott. Mott stopped behind the line of scrimmage, but he'll break to the outside and get up to about the 40-yard line where he's pushed out of bounds. So good play there by Alexander's number 53, Clayton Bizon. Was able to push Mott into the backfield and force him to the outside. So a gain of 2. It'll be 2nd and 2 from the 40-yard line.
Good work not letting him get to the edge there, because if he gets in the open space, he could break one.
First play of the game is sponsored by Ken Barrett Chevrolet Cadillac, West Main Street in Batavia. Hyde brings his team to the line, looks over the defense. He's got 3 receivers split out to the right. Calling the signals. There's a pitch now to number 15, Ty Mott, and he's hit once again by Bizon right at the line of scrimmage. And the Alexander defense showing themselves forceful right off the start here. No gain on that play. It'll be 3rd and 8 from the 40-yard line.
Incredible fundamentals there, getting to the attack and not letting him get loose, wrapping up the running back there. That's what you want to see out of this defense.
You know, one of the things I was wondering is, would this Alexander defense be good enough to force the Aggies into passing situations? And right now it looks like we have one right here.
We might see one right here.
3rd and 8 from their own 40-yard line. Hyde looking over. He's got 2 receivers split out to the right side, calling out the signals. And there's a handoff, and it's a fumble in the backfield and recovered by the Trojans. Number 52 on that fumble recovery, Travis Kaufman. So a little bit of a mishap there in the handoff exchange between Hyde and the running back, and the Trojans now find themselves with a 1st and 10 at the Aggie 33-yard line.
Perfect opportunity here for Alexander to get a good field position and then try to strike early and take the lead here.
Trojans will have number 3, Nick Kramer, as their quarterback, and their main running back this season has been number 5, Braden Woods, and he's in the I formation right now as Kramer calls signals. Big fumble recovery by the Trojans. Kramer hands off to Woods, and there's a nice stop by number 50, Peyton Yasis, behind the line of scrimmage. That'll be a loss of 1 yard. And so far, we got some great defensive plays here with just 11:20 in the first quarter of play.
Yas is one of the big defensive linemen there for OAE. He led the team in tackles this year. That's what you want to see out of your senior defense.
2nd and 11 from the 34-yard line. Kramer now in the shotgun. He's got Devin Dean off to the right side. And Kramer will take the keeper himself up the middle and gain good yardage to the 28-yard line. So a gain of 6 there on that keeper.
Good solid pickup there by Kramer, just lowering the helmet and just plowing through him. Good yards now, 2nd and short here for 3rd and short, excuse me, for Alexander.
Actually, yeah, it's going to be about a 3rd and 5 after that 6-yard run. They're going to have to change that.
Yeah, scoreboard says 4 and 4.
Says 4th down and on the 4-yard line. So Kramer stays in the shotgun. 3rd and 5 from the 28-yard line. Calls out the signals, decides to call his own number again. He gains good yardage up the middle. He's inside the 20, down to about the 16-yard line. So that's a nice 12-yard gain by the quarterback, number 3, Nick Kramer. So Alexander off to a great start here thus far early in the first quarter.
If it works the last play, do it right again. Keep going back to it. Use that run. Keep running the ball until they stop you.
Ball marked at the 17-yard line. So an 11-yard gain there by Kramer. Clock running with just over 10 minutes. Paul Spiata here along with Dan Drummy at Vendetta Stadium in Batavia. This is a semifinal Class D Section 5 matchup between 2 local powerhouses, the Alexander Trojans, the Oakfield, Alabama Elba Aggies. Kramer now under center, hands it off to Woods. Woods looks for room to the right side, but he's stuffed by the Aggie defense. probably get no gain, maybe a loss of 1 on that play.
Nowhere to go for Woods there in the backfield as OE just collapsed on the offensive line and broke through. Good tackle there by the defense.
And it will be a loss of 1, 2nd and 11 now for the Trojans at the 17-yard line.
First possession for the Trojans on offense.
Trojans now split out 2 receivers to the right. Kramer in the shotgun, joined by Devin Dean in the backfield. And the running back in motion, Kramer once again up the middle as he's been successful for the 3rd time today as he gets the ball close to the 10-yard line. Looks like they're going to mark it at about the 12-yard line.
Offensive line did a good job there at opening the holes, and Kramer, it's the most effective play they're using it, so they might as well keep running the ball until they stop you.
A 6-yard gain for Kramer, so 3rd and 5 right now at the 12-yard line. So a big play here by the Trojans. Jay Morrison split out to the right, and now he's in motion. Fake to him, and Kramer once again up the middle, but he's met by number 55 by the Aggies. That's C.J. Gottler. We'll be calling his name a few times today.
Another big defensive lineman there for led the team in tackles on defense as well as Gottler. And again, a good run there by Kramer. Well, I think it's going to be 4th and short. I think you got to go for it here, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure what their field goal opportunities, how they present themselves with their kicker, but that was a gain of 2 yards, and as a result, it'll be 4th and 3 from the 10-yard line.
Yeah, I mean, you could go to Klein here if you want to kick the extra point, or kick the field goal, but I think in a playoff game like this, I think you want to strike and take the lead early.
Just taking a look at the play clock. The play clock down now to about 12 seconds, so we'll see if the Trojans have enough time to get this play off. And they are not really rushing to the line here, Dan, so I'm hoping they don't get caught for the delay of game. Kramer now under center.
They try and draw him off sides, but I still would go for it if I'm Alexander here, because even if you don't convert, you got to make OE drive the entire length of the field. You might as well go for it. That's just my opinion, thinking there.
Well, I'm looking, and I do see number 9, Eric Klein, did trot out onto the field after that timeout call by Alexander, so it does appear that they are going to be kicking a field goal, and it'll probably be around 27 yards for the kicker, Eric Klein.
Nothing wrong to take the sure 3 points if you can here.
Eric Klein, 5'6" junior for the Trojans. And as I mentioned, Dan, I'm not really sure what his distance capabilities are. We saw him on the kickoff, but it was a squib kick.
Yeah, I'm not sure his range either, but I imagine they have pretty good faith in him that he'll get the job done here.
So once again, just to recap, the Aggies took the opening kickoff but fumbled on a missed exchange in the backfield, and the Alexander Trojans were able to recover at the Aggie 32-yard line. They now have driven it down to the 10-yard line. It's 4th and 3, and it does appear that they've opted to kick the field goal, and it will be about a 27 to 28-yard attempt here for the Trojans and kicker number 9, Eric Klein.
Kramer to hold.
Eric Klein back to kick.
Ball spotted at the 17-yard line. As they wait for the snap. There's the snap. It's a good snap. The kick is up, and it's got plenty of distance. And it is good. A good field goal by number 9, Eric Klein, and it'll be 3-0 Trojans. Let's take a 30-second timeout. You're listening to High School Football on WBTA Radio and the Varsity Media Sports Network.
The 4th seed Alexander Trojans come out to a quick 3-0 lead.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Both sides getting ready here. OAE getting ready to get their 2nd offensive possession of the game. Number 9, junior Eric Klein from Alexander. Preparing to kick
Welcome back, everyone. High school football here at Vendetta Stadium. Paul Spiata and Dan Drummy calling the action, and the Alexander Trojans have taken an early 3-0 lead. It's a 27-yard field goal by their kicker, Eric Klein.
Yeah, see, the rain was coming down there for a second as well, so we'll see if that impacts the game at all today as well.
A little bit of precipitation. There's a nub kick now, taken by Jaden Hughes, number 25. He's still on his feet at the 40. He decides to change direction, and he was caught at the ankles there by number 65, Nola Quackenbush. And the Aggies look like they'll have a start at about the same yard line as they did in their first drive of the game.
Yep, he was another one of their talented running backs. Good kicker return. Again, good starting field position for OAE.
1st and 10 for the Aggies at their own 38-yard line. And as we mentioned in that first drive, the Aggies fumbled the ball in the backfield on a bad exchange between the quarterback and the running back.
That rain's only going to make things worse for handling the ball as well.
Here's Hyde now under center. Hands it off to Mott. Mott looking for room to the outside. Good containment there by the Alexander defense. He'll gain about 4 yards, maybe, we'll call it 4 yards up to the 42-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 6 from the 42-yard line.
You said it. They'd really just swarm to the running back there as the Alexander defense. As Mott really had nowhere to go, able to make this something out of nothing and turn into a short gain there.
And as we mentioned, they're definitely going to be keying on him whenever he's in the backfield. That's going to be their first look, is to see if Ty Mott has the ball. Hyde now brings his team once again to the line of scrimmage as he's under center. He's got Mott right behind him. And now Hyde now on the quarterback keeper. He breaks the tackle, gets up to the 50-yard line. Now he's got open field out to 30, down to 20, to the 10. And into the end zone goes the quarterback, number 8, Bodie Hyde. That's a 58-yard touchdown run by the Aggie quarterback, Bodie Hyde.
That was pretty incredible. I don't know if that was a broken play in the backfield. It didn't look like he was planning to. It looked like maybe he was going to hand the ball off, and it was a misdirection. He just found a way to break through in the defense. Finds the room down the sideline, 58 yards. Incredible run there by Hyde.
I actually think that was a design play, whereas we mentioned the Trojan defense is going to be keying on Mott, so the fake was to Mott,
Yep.
and then the keeper to Hyde, and he was able to break a couple of tackles before he found open field up the sideline, and a 58-yard touchdown run by the freshman quarterback. There's Max DeMare with the extra point, and it is good, and that'll bring the score now to 7-3. So a good comeback after the turnover for the Aggies. We'll keep it right here, Dan. So with the rain coming down, as you mentioned, it's going to put a little more emphasis on the running game.
You're going to run the ball, and I was surprised just to see how well Hyde ran the ball there because he broke through the tackle, and Alexander just couldn't contain him. And he found a way down the sideline. I didn't know he had that breakaway speed. I think more would time out that kind of speed. And he just ran right by the defense.
Yeah, we've seen Oakfield, Alabama, Elba a few times this year, and they definitely rely on Mott, but they can go to Gage Armbruster, they can go to Ty Cornell,
Hughes.
They can go to Jaden Hughes. We haven't seen that out of Bodie Hyde
That's the first
yet.
time I've seen him do that this year, so it's a pretty incredible run there.
So that's another weapon that the Aggies can turn to if they need it.
We said they were a run-heavy team, so
6:53 left here in the first quarter. Paul Spiata and Dan Drummy happy to bring you high school football on WBTA Radio and the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Now, I was watching OAE last game against Avon, and one area where I thought maybe Alexander could take advantage was his special teams, the kick return and punt return, because OAE struggled with the kickoff. So if they can get a good return here out of Alexander, it'll help with their give them good field position. Let's see what happens here.
Max DeMare ready to kick off. And I'm trying to check the deep backs. Looks like one of them is the quarterback, Nick Kramer.
I think Hollins is the other one.
And there's a pooch kick taken by Jay Morrison, number 1. He's got some room to the right side, but he's brought down after a short return. He'll get the ball to about the 36-yard line.
And I wonder if they're going short just because they were concerned about what happened last week against Avon with those kick returns, going there with the pooch punts.
It's very possible.
Especially with the bad weather, too.
Ball's going to be marked, let's see it around, it's going to be at the 37-yard line of the Trojans. 7-3, the Aggies have just taken the lead. We've had 2 scoring drives thus far. Alexander's ended up with a 27-yard field goal, and the Aggies respond with a 58-yard touchdown run by their quarterback, the freshman quarterback, Bodie Hyde. Nick Kramer now under center. He's got Woods in the I formation. Calling out the signals, and there's a handoff now. That's Woods to the left side. He's got some room. He breaks a nice move there, and he gets the ball to about the 44-yard line. So a good gain of about 7 yards for Woods. It'll bring up 2nd and 3 from the 44.
He found a hole on the outside. The offensive line gave him the room. There was a hole on the left side, and he broke through and ran over the defender there on that run. Good, solid run of about 7 or 8 yards. That's what you want to see out of your halfback.
So it looks like the Trojans are pretty successful on some misdirection plays and able to get some positive yardage when they utilize those types of schemes.
We saw a lot in the last drive where they would bring the receiver in motion as well, so you're right.
Kramer now hands it off to Woods. He plows it up the middle. Looks like he does have enough for the first down. right at around the 47-yard line, maybe the 48. If it's at the 48, it'll definitely be a first down.
Yeah, it's just a good solid run there by Woods. Just lower the helmet and just drive through that line, and the offensive line get a good hole there, and first down, new set of downs here for Alexander.
And it is a first and 10 for the Trojans. They're still in their territory at their own 48-yard line. First and 10, just under 6 minutes, and the rain is really coming down now. Kramer now under center. I formation once again with Woods, the deep back, and he gets the ball and drags a couple of tacklers up to about the 50-yard line. Looks like they're going to mark it just short of the 50. C.J. Gottler in on the stop, so a 1-yard gain by Woods, and it'll be 2nd and 9.
Gottler just bursted through the hole there and just was able to get in the backfield and wrap up Woods. That's what you want to see out of your defense.
So once again, I'm thinking that just like the Trojans are keying on Mott whenever he is in the backfield, the same has to go for the Aggies keying on number 5, Braden Woods.
They want to make Kramer have to drop back and pass, especially in these poor conditions. They want to see if he can do that, especially with the rain coming down hard.
Yeah, and
it's like it's hail almost.
Yes, it's coming down even harder as we speak. Kramer now fakes the ball to Woods. Here's our first pass attempt, but no, he'll bring it down and get sacked in the backfield. Let's see if we knew who that is for the Aggies. And that's number 32, Caden Kuzmano with the quarterback sack. That'll be a loss of 3, and it'll be 3rd and 12 now for the Trojans.
We were just saying it. They want to make Alexander drop back and pass, and he had nowhere to go on that play, and then Kuzmano was able to wrap him up and bring him down for a loss there. Now we got 3rd and long.
So the weather definitely having an impact on some of the play calling here, and the Trojans, unfortunately, are the ones that are victimized by the timing, and that this drive, the rain has really been coming down hard. Kramer now in the shotgun, calling out the signals. One receiver split to each side. Kramer does a quarterback draw and is able to break a tackle and get to the outside. Will he have enough for the first down?
Yeah.
And he does. I think that's number 2 for the Aggies, Zach Howard, pulling him out of bounds, but it will be enough for a first down. So Kramer with a key run there. And that did look like a designed quarterback draw by the quarterback.
QB keeper, and it looked like it was a pass formation out of the pre-snap, and he just took it and found the right side and was able to get to, 13 yards there on the run. Good run there by Kramer.
1st and 10 at the 39-yard line, so they are now in Aggie territory with just under 4 minutes left here in the first quarter of play. And Kramer now back under center in the I formation is Woods, the deep back. He gets the handoff up the middle, little tentative as he got to the line of scrimmage. He needs to be a little more forceful, but he was definitely looking for a hole there, and there was nothing there.
Nothing at all. That OAE defense just swallowed up all the gaps and made it difficult for him to get anything on that play. I think he got maybe 1 or 2 yards there on that run, but good solid run defense there by the Aggies.
Yeah, they'll give him 1 yard. It's 2nd and 9 now from the 38-yard line. With 3:25 left here in the first quarter, Paul Spiana, Dan Drummy, happy to be here on a rainy day at Vandetta Stadium in Batavia. Alexander now coming to the line of scrimmage. Just one receiver flanked out to the left for the Trojans. And that's Devin Dean up the middle now, the fullback. And he'll gain a couple of yards.
Trying to catch OAE off balance with a little fullback dive there. It didn't get much, but it might make it 3rd and manageable, I guess, for Alexander.
He'll spot the ball at the 35-yard line, so a gain of 3. It'll be 3rd and 6 now. And we'll see if we have our first pass attempt here or whether Kramer, once again, will try to sneak in a quarterback keeper.
I'm guessing they go back to the QB run since it's been the most effective play.
It's definitely been effective for the Trojans thus far today. But Kramer under center now. And there's a handoff to Woods. He's got some room to the left side. Nice stiff arm there, but a nice tackle made by number 10, Gage Armbruster. And that was definitely a saving tackle. Woods had enough room to get at least a first down, if not more.
I think they're calling him short. They're marking him at the 30. He had to get to the 29. I still say you go for it here, but that was a great, as you said, great tackle there by Armbruster to prevent the first down.
That was an excellent stiff arm. And
yeah, he kind of lost his balance there when he stiff armed him, though.
And Armbruster was able to still make the tackle. And a 4-yard gain will bring up a 4th and 1 here for the Trojans, and they are going for it. Let's see if they try to draw him offside or just go for the run. There's a quarterback sneak by Kramer, and he'll definitely get it.
Under the 25. Incredible run there by Kramer. Just lowering the helmet and letting the offensive line push you forward and follow your blocks. Fresh set of downs is what you want to see out of your quarterback. He's carrying the team on his back today in these poor conditions.
Peyton Yassis and number 52 as well, Travis Kaufman, were there, but Kramer, with his momentum, was able to actually get 4 yards on that quarterback sneak and keep this drive going with 1:40 left in the first quarter. And the Trojans have the ball, 1st and 10 at the 31-yard line. There's Morrison now in motion. He'll stop and split out to the right side. Kramer now calling signals, hands it off to Woods. Woods off the right side. He'll gain about 4 yards.
Just tough running there by Woods, following your blockers, not much there, but take what you can get on the offense side of the ball and make it easier for your offense on 2nd down.
They'll mark the ball at the 27-yard line, so it'll be 2nd and 7 with the clock running down to about a minute left here in the first quarter. And it's the Oakfield, Alabama Elba Aggies 7 and the Alexander Trojans 3, but the Trojans are driving here late in the first quarter. And the rain does appear to have let up somewhat as Kramer now in the shotgun with Morrison in motion. There's a fake to Morrison and a little pass out to the flat to Morrison, but he's hit by number
Howard.
2, Zach Howard.
Great tackle there. He came up from his defensive positioning and just saw Morrison coming in motion and recognized it and wrapped him up.
So Howard was able to read that play effectively.
Zach Howard with a huge
What you want to see out of your defense to make it 3rd and long here for Alexander.
And the ball will be marked back at the 25-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and 9 right now with the clock running. And let's see if they're going to have time to get one more playoff before the end of this quarter or not.
They might just let this play out, let her run out for the end of the quarter and get your right play call. Start the 2nd quarter with a critical 3rd down.
And it does appear that that's exactly what's going to happen. So that pass play from Kramer to Morrison that resulted in a loss will be the last play of the first quarter, and that's going to end as the Aggies of Oakfield, Alabama, Elba have a 7-3 lead over the Alexander Trojans. We're going to take a 30-second break and come right back. You're listening to High School Football on WBTA Radio and the Varsity Media Sports Network.
We want to thank everyone for doing their part in these challenging times.
No matter where we work from, we're still here protecting you and your family's rights.
We want you to know that we will always be here for you and your family.
Using our technology so we can protect you and your family no matter where we are.
Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys.
Paul Spiata and Dan Drummy here. We are finished with 1 quarter of play, and the Oakfield, Alabama Elba Aggies have a 7-3 lead over the number 4 seeded Alexander Trojans. So as of right now, we're not looking at that high-scoring games that we have seen previously from the Aggies, Dan.
Yeah, I think the weather's factoring a little bit, and I don't know if maybe Alexander was underestimated a little bit, but they have a really strong defense that even caught me off guard because I watched Oakfield, Alabama last week against Avon, and they really took it to Avon. So I'm really impressed with what I see now of the Alexander defense.
Well, obviously the key is to keep the ball away from the Aggie offense. They only had 2 drives there in the first quarter of play.
Alexander's doing a good job with this, as you mentioned, time management, keeping Aggies on the sideline, so if they can keep running the ball effectively, they'll do a good job of that, maybe take the lead here.
All right, so we're going to start this second quarter of play with a 3rd and 9 from the 25-yard line. Alexander on the move, but a big play here is Kramer in the shotgun, hands it on. Oh, fake to Morrison. There's a fumble in the backfield, so the wet ball could have had an impact on that play, and it's recovered. And that looks like it's number 54 on the recovery. Dontrell Jenkins was alert and on the play there, and the Aggies now will have the ball 1st and 10 from their own 32-yard line.
We saw the same issue with handling the ball and fumbles from Oakfield, Alabama in the first quarter, and now we see it turn the tide as Alexander suffered the same fate. As I don't think Morrison really wrapped it up there, was Kramer gave it to him, and one of their big guys on defense is Jenkins. He jumps on it. Now Oakfield, Alabama will take over, as you said, in their own 32.
So our second turnover of the game, one by the Aggies and one by the Trojans, and now the Aggies, let's see if they can take advantage of it. Bodie Hyde under center, hands it off to Mott. And Mott hit once again right as he hits the line of scrimmage. That's Nick Kramer on the stop, as well as number 7, Jacob Laney.
And he's one of their big defensive guys on defense. They did a good job of, because Mott was trying to spin out of that tackle, and they didn't give him anything to get away. So good stop there, make it 2nd and long.
Looks like no gain on the play. Ball still marked at the 32-yard line. 2nd and 10 for the Aggies, and thus far the Trojans have been able to contain Ty Mott and his high explosive running game. Hyde under center, barking out the signals. There's a handoff now to Ty Corneau. He's got some room to the left side of the field, but he's dragged down there by number 72, Gavin Smith-Crandall.
Great tackle there to limit that run from Cornell to only 3 yards now. So if you can hold him here, make him punt, get the ball right back for Alexander.
Gain of 2 on the play. I believe this is going to be actually 3rd and 8 from the 34 now. And this Alexander Trojan defense is definitely looking the way they did statistically and on paper. A very stingy defense.
Very impressed with their showing today. Very impressed.
Not giving away a lot of points this year. Hyde now under center with 2 receivers split out to the right side. Corneau in motion. There's a handoff. Actually, he faked me out on that play, and a nice pass there to Gage Armbruster. So Hyde once again coming through with his first pass completion, this time to number 10, Gage Armbruster, for the first down.
Armbruster's out in the flat, and Kramer and quarterback just dumped it off there to Armbruster, and he just broke free for the tackle. But he had some good pressure on him as Dean was coming off the edge there for Alexander.
12-yard pass completion. Bodie Hyde is impressing me now with the 58-yard touchdown run and his first pass completion of the day to keep this drive going. 1st and 10 for the Aggies at their own 46-yard line with just over 10 minutes left here in the first half. Hyde now. Hands up to the up back, and he's hit immediately.
It was Mott again. Tried to catch him off guard like a fullback dive there, and he went nowhere. Mott couldn't break free. Good defense there by the Trojans.
There was another Trojan on there on the tagline.
They're going to call, let's see, that's about a 2-yard loss there on the play. So it'll be 2nd and 12 from the 44-yard line.
Good defense there by Alexander.
So Bodie Hyde thus far has been the key player for the Aggies, with showing his running ability. And as I mentioned before, I actually called a game earlier this year where he never even attempted a pass. But thus far, he's 1 for 1 today, so we know he can do it. And he's got 2 receivers split out to the left. And there's a pitch now to Ty Mott. Mott looking for room, but there's the Trojan defense swarming him as he gained him.
Kramer's there again as he wrapped him up. Mott had nowhere to go. He gets to the outside, but the Trojans did a good job of containing the edge, so he had nowhere to go.
Mott got 2 yards on the play, so it's back to the original line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and 10 from the 46-yard line. 9 minutes left here at Vendetta Stadium. Paul Spiata, Dan Drummy. This is a semifinal Class D Section 5 matchup. The number 1 seeded Oakfield, Alabama, Elba Aggies against the number 4 seeded Alexander Trojans. And here's Bodie Hyde now calling out the signals. And it's a fumble on the snap, so once again, I'm thinking the weather has something to do with it.
Alexander's pointing like they have it.
And it will be the Trojans getting a fumble recovery, and they'll start 1st and 10 at the Aggie 45. So the weather once
Playing
again
a factor.
causes the 3rd fumble of the game, 2 by the Aggies and 1 by the Trojans.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of trouble handling the ball today throughout the rest of this game. So third so far today. We'll see how many more we get.
Trojan offense quickly out on the field after that fumble recovery. Kramer under center. I formation with Woods in the backfield. There's Woods now going off the left side. He's got some room, breaks it up, and he'll gain a couple of yards. Caden Kuzmano and Ty Mott there on the stop.
About a 4-yard run there or so for Woods. He really didn't have too much. He was able to get what he could, but tough running there for the Trojans.
The ball will be marked at the 44, so a 2-yard gain.
Yep.
2nd and 8 as the Trojans recovered that fumble in Aggie territory. And the rain still being pretty persistent here at Vendetta Stadium. Kramer now under center. Takes the snap, hands it off to Woods. Woods right up the middle there, and he'll get the ball down to about the 40-yard line. So about a 4-yard gain for number 5, Braden Woods.
Just follow your lead back there and drive forward, pick what you can, make it 3rd and short like it is now. This should be about 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4 here for Trojans.
And they'll definitely be happy with these 4 or 5-yard gains at a pop. It'll also keeps the clock running and keeps the ball away from that potent Aggie offense.
And you could even go 2-down territory if you want, depending on what you pick up here on 3rd down.
Yeah, we definitely might be in the 4-down territory. Here's Kramer now. He hands it off to Woods once again. Woods has some room to the left side. He gets to the sideline and gets to about the 30-yard line. About a 9-yard gain for Braden Woods. And it will be a 1st down for the Alexander Trojans.
One of his best runs today is he just found a hole on the left side, broke through, got to the open space a little bit on the sideline, was able to pick up a huge gain there.
So some power running by the Alexander Trojans. And they're able to get the first down, 1st and 10 at their 31-yard line of the Aggies with the clock actually stopped now with 7:20 left in the second quarter of play. And the Oakfield, Alba Aggies with a 7-3 lead over the Alexander Trojans. Kramer now hands it up to Woods. Woods up the middle. He's able to get about 3, maybe 4 yards. Let's see how many they give him there.
If they got to the initial line of attack there, but the Aggies, they just kind of swarmed him up there as he made to the line of scrimmage.
Well, they'll give him forward progress till about the 28-yard line, so a gain of 3, and it'll be 2nd and 7 from the 28-yard line.
Ball inside the 30 for the Trojans on the Aggie 28-yard line.
And Kramer once again coming to the line of scrimmage with the backs in an I formation. Devin Dean, the up back. Braden Woods, the deep back, and he gets the ball once again up the middle and gains good yardage close to the 20-yard line.
I think it's a first down. Is he just
Might be close to the, if he gets to the 20, it'll definitely be a first down. Let's see where they mark
cool.
it.
I think they're going to measure it, but no, they're giving it to him, looks like.
And,
maybe
it will be a timeout. Let's take a 30-second timeout. You're listening to high school football on WBTA Radio and the Varsity Media Sports Network.
This is the Aggies' first timeout of the half. Both teams have 2 timeouts left. The other Section 5 Class D semifinal.
Welcome back, everyone, to high school football on WBTA Radio and the Varsity Media Sports Network. We just had a timeout called by the Aggies with 6:39 left in the first half. They have a 7-3 lead over Alexander, but Alexander driving as they have a first down at the 21-yard line. That timeout was brought to you by Valley Jewelers at the clock on Jackson Street in Batavia. And as I mentioned on the Gerace Realty scoreboard, 7-3 lead by the number 1 seeded Aggies over the number 4 Trojans.
I think it's a pretty good time out there. I mean, get your defense set. You still have plenty of time on the clock. Get the right play call because now you're in the red zone for Alexander. You want to make sure you have the right defensive call so you can try to force a turnover here.
And as I mentioned before, the key is to keep the ball away from that Aggie offense. And thus far, Alexander
doing a great
has
job.
done just that, as they've only had a couple of possessions here in this game. There's Woods now up the middle. Gains about a yard or 2. But the clock will keep moving.
Not much room there on the offensive line from the right side there for Woods, but look at they're going quick huddle here.
Gain of 2, and they're going with a no-huddle offense. I'm a little surprised at that. Woods now has some room to the left side, breaks it up, and he'll get tripped up at about the 15-yard line.
Actually, a really good idea to go no huddle because you want to keep the defense off pace and keep them guessing. And that might be part of the game plan here for Alexander.
Gain of 4 on that play. He'll put the ball at the 15-yard line where it'll be 3rd and 4. And I hate to say it, but that rain now starting to come down a little harder than it was just a minute or 2 ago. There's a handoff to Woods. They keep going to that left side of the offense. He's got some room inside the 10-yard line. That's number 5, Braden Woods. And it looks like it's going to be first and goal for the Trojans.
He found room on the outside, got to the edge, was able to make it to a big play, and now it's 1st and goal. This is your best opportunity here to take the lead again.
1st and goal from the 7-yard line for the Alexander Trojans, and the clock is running with 5:35 left here in the first half of play. Nick Kramer now brings his team to the line of scrimmage, and the backs in the I formation with Braden Woods in the back. And he goes to that left side again. It was just a missed tackle, but a good stop there after a gain of 2.
Looks like Yassis was in on that tackle. He almost took down the running back, able to get the handoff to Woods and turn it into a positive play instead of a disaster.
Peyton Yassis with the initial trip up, and then the stop made by 32 Kuzmano after a gain of 1. 2nd and goal from the 6-yard line with about 5 minutes left here in the first half of play.
You can take your time here for Alexander. You got plenty of time. Don't rush it.
I formation again. Kramer calling out the signals. And there's the snap. And a mix-up in the backfield.
Yeah. It was like Woods ran into his lineman, and he couldn't go anywhere, and he got tackled. That OAE defense just came rushing through and took him down for a sack for a loss.
And Ty Mott's been having a hard time on offense, but he was there on defense with that tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
He really does it all. He runs the ball on offense and makes great tackles there on defense.
That was a 6-yard loss there, Dan. So it'll be first and goal now from the 12-yard line. And let's see what they have as far as the play calling in this type of situation. Kramer still under center with the backs in the I formation. He fakes the ball now to Woods. He's looking for somebody in the end zone, and the pass is incomplete.
Very close to being intercepted. It looked like he was looking for Laney there on the flat, but really was pretty good coverage there by the Aggies defense. Had nowhere to go with that.
Great coverage there by the Aggies. Not a lot of room to that sideline for the Trojans, and now they're faced with a 4th and goal from the 12-yard line.
So they're going to kick it here with Klein again. Might as well take the points where you can get them.
Eric Klein with a 27-yard field goal in the first quarter. That's the 3 points that the Trojans have on the board. They're going to mark the ball at about the 19-yard line, so it'll be a 29-yard attempt for the Trojan field goal kicker, Eric Klein. Awaiting the snap, the holders, the quarterback, Kramer, and a whistle. And the kick definitely had enough distance.
It was good. That was a great kick.
But let's see what the call is here.
Was it maybe false start maybe?
Flag on the Aggie sideline.
And if that is a flag, I believe that's the first penalty flag that we've had this
Offsides,
game. And
yep.
it's going to be an offsides. So it'll move the ball up to about the 7-yard line. So it'll make the field goal a little easier for Klein. But as we just saw, he had plenty of distance on the last one.
Yeah. I wonder if you consider going for it here. But I mean, I think it looks like they're going to take the sure points.
That'll be 4th and 7 there. So they're still going to take the field goal here with the ball marked now at the 13-yard line. And it'll be a 23-yard attempt for Klein. The kick is up, and it is good. So that'll bring the score now to Oakfield, Alabama, Elba Aggies 7. And the Alexander Trojans now with 2 field goals and a total of 6 points. Let's take another 30-second timeout. You're listening to High School Football on WBTA Radio and the Varsity Media Sports Network.
First half, it is 7-6. The Oakfield, Alabama, Elba Aggies with the lead. Aggies the number 1 seed here over the number 4 Alexander Trojans. Low-scoring game, but very exciting. Aggies about to get the ball here, getting the troops ready. Under 4 minutes left.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
Team for the Aggies, number 2, Zach Howard, and number 80, Noah Courier. Howard, a senior.
Welcome back, everyone. Boy, we have a great game here, just as you would expect in a semifinal match, Section 5, Class D. It's the number 1 seeded Oakfield, Alabama, Elba Aggies with a 7-6 lead over the number 4 seeded Alexander Trojans. Both teams came into this game with a record of 5-1, so we knew that we were going to have a good game, and so far we have not yet been disappointed, as now the kicker, number 9, Eric Klein, set to kick off for the Trojans. And this time he kicks it to the left side of the field, and it will be returned here by the Aggies. Good coverage there by Alexander.
Yeah.
And he's not able to get it out to the 20-yard line, so the ball will be marked at about the 17-yard line.
Good special teams there by Alexander. I mentioned earlier how the special teams could be a key factor for Alexander. I wasn't thinking their gunners were going to be the one to make the play there, but huge there to pin him inside their own 20.
That return was made by number 80 for the Aggies, but unfortunately my roster does not include a number 80. How about you?
I do not have 80 as well.
So that must be a JV call up there for the Aggies. Unfortunately, I wish I had his name. But it'll be 1st and 10 now from the 16-yard line for the Aggies. They have not had the ball too many times here today. They do have a 58-yard touchdown run by the freshman quarterback, Bodie Hyde. There's Hyde now with the handoff, and there's that stingy Trojan defense. But Ty Mott's able to break it to the outside. So he was able to get away from that pack and bounce it out to the right side and gain 3 yards. Actually, I take that back. It's actually 16 to the 24-yard line. That'll be about 8 yards.
It's incredible. He's able to look like he was going to be wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage, and he will just bounce off and spin out to the right and just turn a nothing play into a positive gain. And that's the ability that Ty Mott has there.
2nd and a long 2 right now for the Aggies at their own 24-yard line with the clock moving at about 3:15 left here in the first half of play.
Plenty of time for the Aggies.
2 wide receivers now, split out to the left side. And there's a direct snap. And that's the quarterback, Hyde.
Again. Taken down there by Gavin Smith-Crandall, but you're seeing they're using that running game again. See that huge run earlier for a touchdown. And if Alexander can use the quarterback run, why can't the Aggies do the same thing?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a 10-yard gain there for the quarterback, Hyde. That's actually the first time that I've seen him in a shotgun or direct snap situation. He's usually right under center. But it is a first down, yes, it is a first down for the Aggies at the 34-yard line, and Hyde now back under center.
There's Armbruster.
Gage Armbruster, number 10, with good speed. He cuts it back up the middle, and he's tripped up after about a 8-yard gain.
Yeah, huge run there. And we mentioned earlier how this offense of the Aggies have so many good running backs from Mott, Armbruster, Hughes, and company, and they can just catch you off guard because you key in on one, the other guy can break loose, and a huge run there by Armbruster getting through the line.
8-yard gain by Armbruster, 2nd and 2 from the 42-yard line, but the clock continues to run. 2:10 left here in the first half of play as Hyde brings the team to the line of scrimmage with a receiver split out to the left and Corneau in motion, but there's a trip up in the backfield, but Mott is able to break it to the outside. Nice. But once again, I believe that's Jay Morrison.
Great tackle. As we saw, Hyde got away from the first tackle, and then Morrison went low and took out his legs to prevent another big play. So 3rd and short here coming up. Great tackle there by Morrison.
A loss of 2 on the play now. Mott not able to find anything thus far in the first half. And it looks to be 3rd and 3 from the 42-yard line. 1:35 left here in the first half of play. Hyde now lets his receiver split out to the right. Takes the snap. There's a fake. Hyde now looking deep. Looking deep for the receiver, and he's got him. A beautiful pass and catch.
Zach Howard.
That's number 2, Zach Howard, with the catch.
Just a play action fake misdirection in the backfield. He just put it up, and Howard just beat his defender on the play. Now it's 1st down and 10 inside the 20-yard line, 10 to 15. Huge play there.
Ball marked at the 14-yard line. Let's see, 36 and 6. That's a 42-yard pass completion. Bodie Hyde to Zach Howard, and once again, Bodie Hyde is doing it all.
He's doing it all. They just took a timeout, looks like, so they're going to set the offense up to strike here to increase their lead. But that's just, we haven't seen it out of him today. It's been most of the run, and he goes back and just play action behind the backfield and just puts it up, and Howard just beats the defender there for a massive gain.
Bodie Hyde thus far has a touchdown run of 58 yards, a first down direct snap run of a 10-yard that got them a first down, and he's also got 2 pass completions, including this long 42-yarder to get the Aggies in scoring position at the 14-yard line.
Maybe someone to consider for player of the game later on.
Oh, most definitely. The TF Browns player of the game will be announced at the end of our game. TF Browns on Main Street in Batavia. If it happens in sports, it happens at TF Browns. This timeout is brought to you by Valley Jewelers at the clock on Jackson Street in Batavia. 1:19 left on the Gerace Realty scoreboard, and a 7-6 lead for the number 1 seeded Oakfield, Alabama Elba Aggies. But the number 4 seeded Trojans of Alexander are definitely giving them a game.
This could be a huge critical point in the game, because if Oakfield, Alabama is able to score here and increase their lead, it's a 2-score game for, well, it's a 1-score game basically, but increase the lead because Alexander starts the second half of the football.
Yeah, if they score the touchdown and go for 2, that would make it a 2-score game. Hyde now takes the snap, and there's the handoff up the left side. I think that was number 15 timeout.
Yep, not much there. Good
So
tackle there by, looks like it was Dean on the tackle. They're making the tackle on the inside.
He's able to gain a couple of yards. Actually, they'll mark the ball at the 13-yard line, so a gain of 1 and a 3rd and 9.
And they can still take, I mean, less than a minute, you can still take your time here, call the right play, use as much of that clock as you can.
Less than a minute left here in the first half. Bodie Hyde under center. And there's a fumble on the snap. It looked like the big fullback there, number 52, Travis Kaufman, got in the way, and Hyde had to pick up the drop ball.
He did. It was something happened behind the line of scrimmage, miscommunication, and they ran into each other. Fortunate that he was able to get back on that ball.
So a huge loss and a timeout being called by the Aggies of Oakfield, Alabama Elba. So a unfortunate set of events right there,
Dan.
Dan.
That massive play by Hyde to get down with that big pass down the sidelines by Howard, and then you turn it up with a run play to Mott to get a little bit, and then you have that poor play. But it's good for Alexander on defense, but you want to call the right play here if you're the Aggies.
That's our third fumble of the day by the Aggies. They've recovered that one, but they've lost 2. And then on the flip side, the Trojans have fumbled the ball once, and they lost it to the Aggies. So 4 fumbles total, 3 lost, and 1 recovered. So now looks like a definite passing situation here. We have about a 3rd and 13 with 36.7 seconds left in the first half, and Bodie Hyde has proven that he can pass the ball.
I wonder if maybe they'll dial up like a swing pass out of the backfield we saw earlier with like Armbruster or even Howard. Bring him in motion, dump it out in the flat. That way you get a positive play, you keep the clock running, and you can kick a field goal if you need to.
And it may even give them another opportunity, maybe a pass out to Mott, and give Mott another.
Maybe a screenplay or something.
Always good to keep that ball in the Ty Mott's hands. Let's see what happens here with 3rd and 13 at the 17-yard line. Hyde, there's a play action pass. He's got a receiver up the right side. He opts not to pass it, and he gets it up to about the 10-yard line. So I thought he had a receiver open there, Dan, but he opted to keep the ball and get it down to about the 11, maybe 10-yard line.
I think the plan was to throw it, and he went down and bounced like clock still running. I was surprised he ran it. I didn't think he was going to run it there.
Actually, inside, it's at the 9-yard line, and the Aggies quickly trying to get the play off with about 10 seconds left here. There's a fake, Hyde it, and he overthrows Armbruster in the end zone. And it looks like the Trojans now are going to take over on downs to end this first half of play. So the Aggies were kind of rushed into that play, Dan, with the clock moving.
They didn't have a timeout. They couldn't spike it. Maybe they are going to. Yeah, he had a good play there for Armbruster. Overshot him there on the end zone.
And Bodie Hyde with his first incompletion of the day as he overthrew Armbruster in the end zone.
It's a huge defensive stand there for Alexander to only be down 1 at halftime, which is massive.
So now the Trojans, will they just kneel on the ball and be content to go into
looks like it.
The halftime down 7-6, and that's exactly what they do. So the clock will run down to 0, and it will be the end of the first half of play, and what a first half it is. The defenses are shining here today as the number 1 seeded Oakfield, Alabama Alba Aggies have 7 points compared to the number 4 seeded Alexander Trojans with 6. So a 7-6 lead right now for the Aggies at the end of today's first half of play. We are going to take We'll take a 2-minute break and be back and review some of the action here in the first half of play. You're listening to High School Football on WBTA and the Varsity Media Sports Network.
In these challenging times,
No matter where we work from, we're still here protecting you and your family's rights.
we want you to know that we will always be here for you and your family.
Using our technology so we can protect you and your family no matter where we are.
Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys.
Looking for a great way to commemorate this season's sectionals? Section 5 Athletics is excited to work with Mugs & More to offer a variety of apparel options for each sport and each season. Items include graphics specifically developed to feature the sport and year, including items such as hoodies, hats, pants, and more. Apparel for each season is available for a limited time, so don't miss your chance. Visit section5.org/mugsandmore to see the many options and place your order today.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
There's a snap. Throws a screen. It's intercepted and ran right in for the touchdown. Wow, Colin James picks off the pass. He timed it. On the first play, Rager cuts the corner to 30 to 35 to 40 to 45 to 50. The 5, touchdown, Blue Devils. There's a snap, and back to pass. Throws straight across the middle. He's got a receiver open and in for the touchdown. Wow, what a play call on first down.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area's leader in sports media production. We specialize in live streaming.
Cuts inside. Touchdown, Red Devils. Rosin coach Craig Murphy. There's you. What a move. And the foul.
Videography. And photography. Covering all sports at all levels. We feature aerial photography and videography, college recruiting videos, live streaming of games.
Patience offensively against this excellent defense. Now the shot's fired. How about that? Right into the top of the cage off the stick.
Be second down and 3. Handoff this time right up the middle. And B.J. Clark is gone for the touchdown.
School events, graduations. Varsity Media is available to cover a game, a tournament, a season, or any special event.
Talk to us a little bit about what went through your mind, how you prepared for that to run such a fast speed.
Currently, spectators are limited at events. Let Varsity Media bring the event to your fans. Contact Varsity Media today for more information. Online at varsitymedia.net or by phone at 866-577-1950. Are you settling for a boring live stream? Can't see the players' uniforms? No audio? Camera not following the action? Consider a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media. Our announcers help tell the story of your game.
Goes McCarthy. He's got up. He's in. Touchdown, Farmingdale.
We feature multiple camera angles, guaranteed to capture all the action.
Touchdown, Oceanside.
Plus added features like graphics, instant replay.
Yeah, the shooters are going to shoot here at Bethpage, and one of many threes on the day.
Interviews and more. It's your time to shine. And with Varsity Media, now you can. Contact us today and book a live stream broadcast with Varsity Media online at varsitymedia.net or by phone 516-403-2050.
Welcome back, everyone. We're at Vendetta Stadium. It's halftime, but the clock is running down. We're about ready to start today's second half of play. And it's a very slim 7-6 lead for the number 1 seeded Oakfield, Alabama Alba Aggies, as the number 4 seeded Alexander Trojans are giving them everything that they can to stay in this game. As we have the scoring here in the first half, the Aggies scored on their second drive of the game as quarterback Bodie Hyde was able to break free and up the sideline for a 58-yard scamper.
I initially thought it was a kind of a misdirection in the backfield and miscommunication. He broke through and slipped down the sidelines for a huge run. Didn't know he had that ability.
That gave the Aggies a 7-3 lead. The Trojans had actually got their field goal after a fumbled turnover that they were able to get inside the Aggie territory. And the kicker, Eric Klein, was able to kick a 27-yard field goal to give them an early 3-0 lead. But then Hyde broke up the sideline for that touchdown, the only one thus far here in today's game. Trojans have been able to show a very good ability to ball control when they have the ball on offense. And as a result, late in the second quarter, they were able to get another field goal from Klein, this time from 23 yards out, and get that lead, get their deficit down to 7-6.
Both field goals coming off of OAE turnovers, as we saw Klein's been the MVP of this Trojans team, and you mentioned they're running the ball really well with Woods, and if they can keep that going in the second half, they might be able to break through, especially if the weather is back and forth like we've seen in the first half.
And as you said, the weather definitely played a factor here in the first half, and it does look like it's brightening up a little bit. It's supposed to brighten up. In fact, for tonight's game, the Batavia game, which starts at 6, they're actually calling for sunny skies for the rest of the day into the evening hours. But I'm very curious now as to what the Aggies talked about at halftime, especially what it needs to what they need to do to get timeout open.
I would imagine that they probably made some corrections like most teams do at half, and they're probably saying, just play your game, play smart football, do your job, and don't be too overcritical of things. And if you're just play your game, you'll be fine. You've done it all season long. It's the reason why you're the top seed. If you play your game, you should be fine.
Yeah, the biggest play for the Aggies there in the first half was a 42-yard pass completion from the freshman quarterback Bodie Hyde to number 10 junior Gage Armbruster. And let's see if the Aggies have any more of that in their playbook here in the second half of play.
We also saw Zach Howard have that big catch on the sideline as well in the first half too. So,
yeah, not a lot of passing thus far. I believe the Trojans of Alexander have 1 pass attempt and 3 for the Aggies.
And Alexander starts the second half of the football, which is huge because we saw that big defensive stop at the end of the first half. So now you can maybe build off of it and take the lead here in the second half.
Trojans will be receiving the second half kickoff, which will be coming from number 42, Max Demare. And the Aggies are huddled now at the 40-yard line waiting for the second half of play to begin.
So we got Hollins and Kramer back to receive the kick for Alexander.
And it looks like the quarterback Kramer is expecting some type of a squib kick, as he is definitely further up at around the 33-yard line. And here's Demare approaching the ball. And there's the kick. He'll kick it deep. And he's got a wide open return out to about the 40-yard line. That was number 21, Connor Hollins, on the return. So a nice return by Hollins.
A thing that we talked about in the first half was OAE's issue with the special teams in the last game against Avon. That's why they weren't kicking it deep. And they kicked it deep there. And another great starting field position for the Trojans here.
1st and 10 for the Trojans at the 41-yard line. So a nice return there by Hollins. And let's see what the Trojans have in store here in the second half, as they were able to run a very balanced, well-controlled offense. A lot of running plays with Braden Woods doing the bulk of it, but the quarterback Kramer was carrying the ball a lot in the first quarter. But there's a handoff now to Woods. They keep going up the left side of the field. They must have found something there.
Good 5-yard run there by Woods. I initially thought it was a false start on the offensive line here, but good stop there. Good run there to the outside to get to the edge there by Woods.
Yeah, we've only had one penalty flag thus far. That was a 5-yard offside penalty, which actually moved the field goal attempt in 5 yards, which made it a little easier for Eric Klein to make. And it's 2nd and 5 now after that 5-yard gain by Braden Woods. And the Trojans don't appear to be in a hurry here as they're going to let that clock continue to tick. But they are down by a point, 7-6, early in the third quarter. Kramer now takes the snap under center with an I formation in the backfield. There's a fake handoff to the fullback, and there's that flag. I think I jinxed ourselves there.
Looked like it was like a fake fullback handoff there, dive, and then Kramer kind of kept it and took the sack. I didn't know if it was a QB option or what. The flag came in right immediately after the play was happened.
A fake to Dean, and it looks like there's a cut block call against the Trojans. And it will be a 10-yard penalty.
The penalties on the Trojans
15 looks like.
Oh, it's going to be a 15-yard penalty. Okay, so it's a major penalty.
It's huge.
Our first big penalty of the day. That'll move the ball all the way back to the 31-yard line.
It's going to be a long third down. There we go.
It's either I called it a cut block foul, but it may be a tripping call.
Clipping, yeah. Let's see what they can do here on third and long. Or second and long.
Actually, 2nd and long. They have to get inside Aggie territory for the first down. There's a fake to the man in motion, and Kramer, not much there, but he's able to get it to about the 35-yard line, so a gain of 4.
Able to pick up some yards there. I mean, the defense just broke through that line of scrimmage, and fortunately he's able to pull it, turn it into a positive gain at all.
So 3rd and 16 now for the Trojans as they have to get to the 49-yard line of the Aggies to get their first down. And another thing, Dan, we have not yet seen a punt this game.
Well, I mean, the weather's really factored into that. You don't want to punt when you can't hold on to the football. So,
and you know, most of the 4th down situations we've seen have been inside enemy territory, so the need to punt really wasn't there.
Well, we might see one coming up here in a second.
Kramer now in the shotgun. 2 receivers out to the left, 1 to the right. He looks left, fakes it to the right. There's a pitch pass to number 7 in the flat.
There's Lane.
That's Jacob Laney.
Yeah. Not much there.
Zach Howard on the stop after about we'll call it maybe a 3-yard gain to the 41-yard line. So not much there for the Trojans.
Kind of like a wide receiver screen. He kind of faked that to throw out to the left and came back here to the right side. And Laney really didn't have much room to go anywhere, nowhere to go on the play.
And here we go with our first punt of today's game. It's going to be number 24, Devin Dean. And Ty Mott is back deep, so I would assume that Dean's going to try his best to keep the ball away from Mott here on this punt.
Good idea.
And here we go. And he definitely hits it to the sideline, and it's able to bounce away from Mott and out of bounds. So a nice punt there by Devin Dean.
Took a great favorable bounce out of bounds away from Mott. Mott had no chance to bring in that punt, and that's kind of the best scenario you can hope for if you're punting for Alexander.
So Devin Dean's punt goes out of bounds at the 20-yard line, and that's where the Aggies will start 1st and 10.
With a 1-point lead here.
With a 7-6 lead for the Aggies over the Trojans. 9:26 left on the Gerace Realty scoreboard. The opening drive of the second half was brought to you by Ken Barrett Chevrolet Cadillac, West Main Street in Batavia. Bodie Hyde now, the freshman quarterback, under center. He'll hand it off to Gage Armbruster. Armbruster had some opening there to the right side of the field, but closed down quickly by the Trojan defense. Gain of about 3 yards there for Armbruster.
That's a good defensive tackle there by the defender there to wrap up Armbruster and keep it to a short minimal gain.
2nd and 7 for the Aggies, and like I said, let's see what the Aggies have drawn up as far as getting Ty Mott some room to run here in the second half. There wasn't much for him in the first half. Hyde now in the shotgun. Last time he took the direct snap, he had a 10-yard scamper, and there he goes again. Mott out in front of him. Hyde this time with some good first down yards. There he is with a lot of moves. He's still on his feet out to about the 45-yard line. He's still running. The freshman quarterback, Bodie Hyde, with a 23-yard scamper and a first down for the Aggies.
They had really good results of that play in the first half of running the ball, so you might as well go back to it. You're getting good success out of it. Until the defense can stop you, keep running that football.
So the second big gain of the day for Hyde in the Wildcat direct snap play call. And the Aggies are on the move, 1st and 10 at their own 46-yard line with 8:25 left in the third quarter. Paul Spiata and Dan Drummy glad to be here at Vendetta Stadium for this semifinal Class D Section 5 matchup. Bodie Hyde now. Lines up under center with one receiver split out to the right side, and timeout in the backfield. There's a handoff now to Corneau. Corneau coming up the left side, not much there. He's able to break it up the middle and gain a couple of yards. But good pursuit there by the Trojan defense to hold him to about a 3-yard gain. So he made 3 yards out of nothing there, Corneau.
Able to turn into something into nothing, or nothing into something, as he was going more east-west. You want to go north-south in those plays, and he kind of came on in motion, and fortunately he didn't get trapped behind the line there.
So 2nd and 7 at the 49-yard line. That's the third running play that the Aggies have run thus far, and yet to have given the ball to timeout. Hyde now calling the signals. And a play fake, and Hyde once again with some moves, and there he goes up to about the 35-yard line. And Bodie Hyde.
Another big run there, and it looked like he initially bobbled the snap off the beginning of the play, and he took it and ran around to the edge of got to the edge and fouled his blocks and was breaking more tackles. He's been the Tyler Mott of this game today.
Yes, 16-yard run there for the freshman quarterback, number 8, Bodie Hyde, and the Aggies once again with a first down, this time inside Trojan territory, 1st and 10 at the 35-yard line, with 7 minutes left here in the third quarter of play.
Keep running that football until they can stop you.
Aggies break the huddle as Hyde comes to the line of scrimmage with 2 receivers split out to the left side. Ty Mott in the backfield. There's the first pitch now to Mott here in the second half. He's got some room off to the left side. He breaks a tackle. He's got some room up the sideline down to about the 10-yard line. He breaks another tackle. He drags a running back down to about the 2-yard line, and there's the first big run of the day for number 15, Ty Mott.
Got to the edge. Used a stiff arm, got by defenders, just kept running, kept turning those legs. He got in the open space, and he gets all the way down to the 2-yard line. It's a huge play. His first big play of the game for Ty Mott.
So Ty Mott with his first running play.
There's a flag on the play for holding. It's coming back.
Oh, boy.
Wow.
We didn't see that, Dan.
Wow.
That was a 33-yard run by Ty Mott, and it's going to be nullified by a holding penalty.
Wow, huge play. The third penalty of the game. That's just a massive penalty.
Second penalty against the Aggies today. First here in the second half, and that'll move the ball back to the 45-yard line. So a difference of 43 yards on that run compared to the holding penalty. It'll be 1st and 20 for the Aggies.
If I'm the Aggies here, I go right back to the run. Keep running that football.
Let's see if they can recover as Zach Howard runs out to the right side. Armbruster in the slot. Hyde under center. There's Armbruster now in motion. There's a handoff to Mott. Mott finds some room to the right side, breaks it to the outside, gets it to the 35-yard line. There's a nice tackle from behind by number 5, Braden Woods.
Nice tackle. As we said, Mott again, he gets to the edge there, and he gets in the open space, and he just breaks tackles, uses a stiff arm. He's real balanced contact. He bounces off tackles and just keeps going.
So he's able to get 13 yards on that run. It'll be 2nd and 7 now. So a good first down run there by Ty Mott, as they had a 1st and goal at the 2-yard line, nullified by a 10-yard holding penalty. Clock running with 6 minutes left here in the third quarter of play, and a 7-6 lead for Oakfield, Alabama, Elba. Hyde now takes the snap. Inside handoff to, I think it was Ty Mott. Not much there. Nick Kramer on the stop.
Just a big group of players there. He just kind of ran through and got kind of lost in the madness there, but able to pick up something and make it 3rd and short.
Gain a 2 now to the 30-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and 5. 3rd and short 5 for the Aggies. And once again, we are definitely in 4-down territory.
Oh, absolutely.
We only had 1 punt in this game, and that was on the last drive by the Trojans, but it was an excellent punt by Devin Dean, which pinned the Aggies back to their 20-yard line, but they have subsequently got the ball up to the 30. And now with a 3rd and 5, there's Hyde in motion, is Armbruster, and there's the handoff to Armbruster. He's got a big hole there on the right side. He breaks it up the middle and gets down to about the 21-yard line.
able to get to the edge. There was Armbruster. He kind of found a hole on the edge of the line there and just ran right through it. Another freshen it down for these Aggies.
Nice run there, 9-yard gain by Armbruster, but a nice hole opened up by the offensive line there, the right side of the offensive line for the Aggies. And they keep this drive going with 5 minutes left in the third quarter.
Doing a good job of clock management, too, using that clock.
1st and 10 at the 21-yard line, and Hyde, as he has been most of the game, under center for the snap. Timeout in the backfield with Armbruster. And there's Corneau in motion. A handoff to Mott. Comes to the left side. Not much there. Good containment by the Alexander defense. And great job there by number 5, Braden Woods, stringing the play out to the sideline.
Was a good defensive stop there, but even Mott still finds a way to turn into a positive gain there. He's just so shifty and gets to the edge.
Looks like they'll give him 2 yards on the play, so it'll 2nd and 8 from the 19-yard line for Mott. His biggest run of the day, a 33-yard gain, was nullified by a 10-yard holding penalty. So timeout has yet to break loose today with 4:33 left in the third quarter play. Paul Spiata, Dan Drummy, happy to be here at Vandetta Stadium for this semifinals Section 5 Class D matchup. Hyde now under center. Armbruster back into the backfield now. Hand off to Armbruster. Not much room there. And he may have lost a yard on that play.
Tried to spin away from tackle there, and the defender had him kind of wrapped by the ankles there, and he couldn't go anywhere. He tried to cut back inside and just nowhere to go.
Looked like number 52, Spencer West, on the play.
Nice tackle there by the Trojans defense to wrap him up.
So they're going to call it a 2-yard loss, which will put the ball back at the original line of scrimmage, 3rd and 10. And I'm curious as to whether we'll see Hyde pass the ball. Looks like he will be in the shotgun situation here, with Mott to his left side and Armbruster in the slot, and 2 wide receivers split out to the left side. Once again, the direct snap to the left side of the field, but good containment. There's Nick Kramer.
Yeah,
and Kramer able to drag him down.
I don't think Mott liked the way he was tackled there, but kind of comes up kind of frustrated. But that's just a great defensive stand there by the Trojans.
He may have been looking for some type of a horse collar call there. But
it was a designed run play for him, but he couldn't get away from the defender.
So not successful on that run for the first time today, and that's a loss of 5 yards.
Are they going for it here on 4th down?
It'll be 4th and 15. I'm not sure of what Max Demers' range is.
So they're going for it.
Yeah, they may not have a choice here but to go for it. 4th and 15 at the 26-yard line.
And when you got Mott in the backfield, I'm not surprised. He can probably turn into a 1st down by himself.
So Hyde now takes the snap. Looks like they might be trying to draw the defense off, but no, Hyde now rolls out to the right. Looks for a receiver in the end zone, but he'll throw it out of bounds, and a great stop by the Trojan defense. And now I'm looking at Bodie Hyde. He's getting slow to get up.
He got hit hard on that play. He threw. He got hit late. No call on the play. He's still sore. He's kind of limping off the sideline. Wow.
Yeah, Bodie Hyde plays both sides of the ball.
That could be a huge loss if he's injured.
For the Aggies. Yeah, he definitely.
He's waving off the sides like he's fine.
Yeah, he got dragged down by Kramer on the previous play and then got pushed down after he threw that pass out of bounds. But the Trojan defense able to stand tough as the Aggies were definitely driving. Obviously, that holding penalty really put a crimp into the Aggies' plans there. And Nick Kramer now starts 1st and 10 from his own 31-yard line with just under 3 minutes left here in the third quarter play. Hands it off to Woods. They found a lot of success on the left side, but nothing there. Maybe a yard gain as Ty Corneau.
Yeah, he came in there, blow up the play, and keep it to a short gain there for Woods. Good tackle there by Corneau.
They'll give him 2 yards up to the 28-yard line for Woods.
It feels like it's been forever since we saw this Trojans offense. Because OAE just had the ball for so long in that third quarter.
7-6, Oakfield, Alabama, Elba over Alexander. The number 1 seed and the number 4 seed in a great game here thus far. Braden Woods once again off the left side. Peyton Yassis, one of the tacklers there for the Aggies.
One of the leading tacklers on our defense for sure. Him and the rest of that defense. And something you got to keep an eye on is holding on to that ball, because if Woods isn't careful there, he's going to have another fumble there.
Gain of 4 there for Woods, so it'll put the ball at the 32-yard line. 3rd and 4, and a big play coming up here for the Trojans.
Really need a big play here for the Trojans offense if you want to keep the drive alive.
Kramer in the shotgun with 2 receivers split out to the right side. Morrison in motion, but Kramer will take it himself, and he's got some opening up the right side and up the middle. He's out to the 50-yard line after breaking even more tackles. He's still on his feet up the sideline and down to about the 25-yard line. Quarterback Nick Kramer with a big run for the Trojans.
Massive run play on third down. We've seen both these quarterbacks running the ball a lot today, and he makes a huge play there, breaks the tackles, spinning away from tackles, runs down the sidelines. Something about going left to right on this field. We've seen quarterbacks have a lot of success. Huge first down for the Trojans.
A 37-yard run by the quarterback, Nick Kramer, and it's 1st and 10 for the Trojans at the Aggie 26-yard line with 1:27 left here in the third quarter of play, and Kramer now under center. There's a handoff to Woods and a nice stop there by number 25, Jaden Hughes.
Great getting in the backfield there to break up that play.
So they went to the left side maybe once too often as Hughes read that play and was able to stop Woods for no gain.
He got to run out to the right. We just saw Kramer have a huge, massive run to the right side. Use that right side of the field.
And we've seen both sides, Alexander and Oakfield, Alabama, Elba, with these bend, don't break defenses on display today. Less than a minute left here in the third quarter, but the Trojans are on the move. 2nd and 10 from the 31-yard line. There's a direct snap to Kramer in the backfield. He breaks it up the middle, and I believe that was Peyton Yassis with the first hit.
And there again, he's in every single play. One of the big leaders on this defense for the Aggies.
Kramer will gain 4 yards, so it'll be a big 3rd and 6 now for the Trojans. And once again, we got to start thinking about the field goal range of their kicker, Eric Klein. He's got 2 field goals already today. Will he be in range for a third? As we head to the fourth quarter play, that could have been the last play.
I think it's going to be.
Of the third
game
quarter.
Clock's ahead of the play clock by a couple seconds.
Yes, the teams are definitely going to let that clock wind down to 0.
And not a bad play here because then you can call the right play for this critical third down here for the Trojans.
And that is the end of the third quarter of play, and the score remains Oakfield, Alabama, Elba 7 and Alexander 6. We're going to take a 1-minute break. We'll be right back. You're listening to High School Football on WBTA Radio and the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Right now over the Alexander Trojans.
Welcome back, everyone, to Vendetta Stadium. What a game we have here as we enter the fourth quarter of play. It's Oakfield, Alabama, Elba 7, and the Alexander Trojans 6 on the Gerace Realty scoreboard. Number 1 seed against the number 4 seed, and the number 4 seed is giving number 1 everything they can as they have the ball. The Trojans have the ball 3rd and 6 at the 22-yard line to begin today's fourth quarter of play.
This is something really important. You mentioned that bend but don't break defense, and we saw last week was Tyler Winter was talking about his defense. It was a bend but don't break all last game against Avon. We're seeing more of it here today for both these teams.
And the sun now starting to make an appearance here for the first time this afternoon as Kramer under center fakes the handoff to Woods, breaks it out to the left side, dragging tacklers along the way. Ty Mott, one of those tacklers. He's able to get it inside the 20-yard line, but it will be short of the first down.
Good run there by Kramer to get to the edge, but it's good defense, good pursuit by the defense to prevent it from getting that first down.
A gain of 3 yards, put the ball at the 19-yard line, where it'll be 4th and 3, and here comes the field goal kicker, Dan.
He's been the MVP of the Trojans of the game today for them, so you might as well give him the lead here. Trying to be a little bit longer.
Trying to take a look and see what wind we might have today and whether it's going to affect the kick at all.
I think it's going the other way.
This ball is going to be spotted at the 26-yard line, so this is a 36-yard attempt by the kicker, Eric Klein. He has 2 thus far today. And here we go. Here's the snap. A little high. There's the kick. It's got a lot of distance. And it is good. A 36-yard field goal by the Alexander kicker, Eric Klein, and they now have a 9-7 lead. What do you think of that, Dan?
He's been the MVP of the game for them all game, and if this score holds, he could be the deciding factor and what pushes them on to the next round. And we shouldn't be surprised, as Alexander's been one of the best teams as it comes to Class D in the championship, and they won a championship in 2018 and 2016. So we're not surprised that they're having a good showing here today.
You typically don't see a lot of field goals in a high school football game, let alone 3 in the same game, and Eric Klein has...
Well, with the weather being so poorly in the first half, you weren't surprised, and they're going to use this player to their advantage, and if you have a good kicker and you can use them, take advantage of it, and it could help your team. And it's obviously showing here today.
That kind of looked like the extent of his range, though. Is it?
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to go much farther. We'll see if it comes down later in the game if he needs to make another big kick.
So a nice job there by Eric Klein and a nice job by Nick Kramer and the Trojan offense to get themselves in position for that field goal. Kramer with a big 37-yard scamper to get the Trojans into scoring territory, and now they have a 9-7 lead.
And he had the snap was kind of high on the field goal, and he brought it down and was able to make it easier for his kicker there as well.
That's right, Kramer, the holder as well on field goals. So now Klein gets a chance to kick off. And we have Zach Howard and the mysterious number 80 back deep for the Aggies. 11:08 left on the Gerace Realty scoreboard, and here's Klein approaching the ball. A squib kick goes to Jaden Hughes. He bobbles the ball and downs it, probably wisely downs it at the 26-yard line.
You don't want to have any more fumbles. You already had 4 already in this game, so let's keep it to that. Jump on there and bring your offense out and see what you can do.
So a sign of good coaching there by the Aggies there. Hughes had the wherewithal to just down the ball and let his offense take over.
Bring out timeout, bring on Armbruster and company, and see if you can march it down the field, take the lead here with the last 11 minutes to go in the game.
Paul Spiata, Dan Drummy here now on a sunny afternoon at Vandetta Stadium. And the Alexander Trojans have a 9-7 lead over the Oakfield, Alabama Elba Aggies. Hyde now in shotgun. Hands off to Ty Mott. There's Mott with some room. He breaks it up the middle, now up to the 40-yard line, trying to get to the 45, and he's dragged down.
Is that Dean there on the tackle? It looked like it was Dean there on the tackle.
24, Devin Dean with the tackle.
We saw Mott get to the edge. If he gets to the edge of that open field in the secondary, he's very dangerous. And you see right there, it's a huge play there by OAE, and you're probably got to rely on your superstars in big games like this.
17-yard gain by Mott, and that's the first time they've given Mott the ball in the shotgun situation, so maybe that's one of the things they discussed at halftime.
Got to use misdirection. We saw a lot of times Hyde out of the snap, out of the shotgun, run the ball. So.
And here's Hyde now under center. Hands it off to Mott. Mott up the middle. Not much there.
But he keeps turning those legs, and he's ripping as he gets by those tackles. He's stiff-arming and just pushing players off him. He's just such a violent runner.
At the bottom of the pile there for Alexander was Clayton Bezon. But a gain of 4 for Mott, so 2nd and 6 at the 47-yard line with the clock running at 10:05 here in the fourth quarter of play.
Plenty of time.
Hyde now under center. He'll hand the ball off to
Armbruster.
It looks like number 10, Gage Armbruster, and he's disappointed. He lost his footing there in the backfield. I don't know if it's slippery there, if he just tripped up.
He had plenty of room on the side. If he gets to the edge there, he had plenty of room down the sideline as well to make it to a big play. So another critical third down here coming up.
He lost a couple of yards on that play, so it'll move the ball back to just over the 45-yard line and a 3rd and 8 for the Aggies.
And with situations like this, I'd go right back to Armbruster. Keep the confidence in your players and see if you can pick up another first down here.
Bodie Hyde now, he's got Ty Mott directly behind him. There's a play fake. Hyde now looking, and it's a nice play by number 3, Nick Kramer, and the interception. So Kramer stepping up his play here in the second half, both on offense and defense, Dan.
He just read that play perfectly. He was out in the flats, and I don't think Hyde ever saw him, and he was able to tip it to himself and bring it down. Huge play for the Trojans there. That's what you want to see is just Kramer's doing it all today.
Bodie Hyde having a great game as the quarterback for Oakfield, Alabama, Elba, but Nick Kramer, the quarterback and defensive back for the Trojans, has really turned it on here in the second half of play. And another turnover. That is the third turnover in the game. They got 2 fumble recoveries and now the interception as Kramer brings his team to the line of scrimmage. There's a handoff to Woods, and a nice stop there by Caden Kuzmano behind the line of scrimmage.
He just starts to show a big, huge tackle there behind the line by Kuzmano as he got through the tackles there and brought down the running back there. Big play.
Loss of 3. It'll be 2nd and 13 now at the 43-yard line. And the Aggies now starting to show a little bit of desperation there, as this is definitely a scenario that they have not seen all season. In fact, maybe for the last 3 seasons.
We need to see a bend but don't break mentality, but there's still plenty of time. This is a big pressure situation there for the Aggies.
Kramer now. And there's
a false start.
A false start, so that's unfortunate for the Trojans. So I was going to mention there with the Aggies, they do have 1 loss on the season. They lost to Boulevard Richmond 14-8. So this definitely is a similar scenario that they faced in their only loss of the season. 5-yard penalty will push the ball back to the 38-yard line, where it'll be 2nd and 18 now. Devin Dean in the backfield with Nick Kramer in the shotgun. 2 receivers split out to the right, 1 to the left. Kramer on a quarterback keeper up the right side. And he's dragged down by Jaden Hughes, number 25.
Just a good run there. Follow your blockers to the right side, find the hole, and take what you can get, and makes it still 3rd and long, but maybe you can pull a big play here. We saw earlier a big critical 3rd down last series, and Kramer made a huge run. Let's see if they dial up here.
Give him 5 yards on that play. 3rd and 13 now at the 43-yard line with the clock running. 7:50 left here in the 4th quarter of play.
Take your time if you're the Trojans. Use that clock if you have to punt it. That way, give OAE less time with the football.
Nick Kramer in the shotgun. Devin Dean flanked in the backfield. Now he's blocking for him, but there's not any room there as the Aggie defense.
Time there again.
Caden Kuzmano as well.
They're big players to come up big in the key situation. It's a good stop there from OAE. Let's see if they can get the ball back here and see what they can do with it.
They'll give 1 yard to Kramer on that keeper, and it definitely looks like a punting situation. Only the 2nd today, and the Trojans had the other punt of today, and Devin Dean back in.
He had a good punt last time, pinned him down deep inside the 20. Let's see if he can do it again.
He had a great punt last time, was able to keep it away from the deep back timeout. Let's see if he does it again. And this time it goes off the side of his foot and will land. And it was touched by 25 Jaden Hughes, but alertly picked up there by 15 timeout. So that could have been a huge mistake.
Got to be careful there in these situations. You can't make dumb plays like that. It could have been a critical turnover there, but able to hop on the ball there.
So the Gerace Realty scoreboard shows a 9-7 lead. Alexander over Oakfield, Alabama. Elba, 6:55 left. But the Aggies have the ball once again, 1st and 10 at the 36-yard line.
See, Hughes on the sideline. He's definitely frustrated. Coach is telling us to calm down, settle. It's going to be all right.
Bodie Hyde now barking out the signals under center with time out in the backfield. There's the pitch now to Mott. He finds a little bit of room up the middle, and a nice ankle tackle there by Devin Dean.
He's been doing it all today for this Trojans defense. Prevent Mott from making a big play here. They've done a really good job of containing Mott for the most part.
Yeah, he had a 17-yard run. I believe that's his longest of today. He had a 33-yard run nullified by a holding penalty. They'll give him 3 on this play. 2nd and 7 from the 39-yard line, and that clock is moving with 6:25 left here in the 4th quarter. 9-7 Alexander over Oakfield, Alabama, Elba. And freshman quarterback Bodie Hyde under center. Armbruster backing up into the backfield. And there's a fake to Mott and a keeper by Hyde. And a nice stop there by number 52, Spencer West.
Really nowhere to go for the Aggies, as the Trojan defense really got good pursuit and got into the backfield there. And fortunate it wasn't a loss, but it is 3rd manageable here on 3rd and 4.
Well, we'll give him 3 yards. I'm not sure if he meant to give that ball to Mott or whether it was supposed to be a fake or not.
Some miscommunication in the backfield, hard to tell.
3rd and 4 now from the 42-yard line with the clock running at 5 minutes and 40 seconds left on the Gerace Realty scoreboard. Hyde now calling out the signals with timeout in the backfield and Armbruster in motion. And there's a handoff to Armbruster. And he
nice
gains
tackle.
some tough yards as a tackle
Big tackle
made by
Hollins there.
Connor Hollins with a nice tackle. But it will be first down yardage for Gage Armbruster and the Aggies.
I like that they went back to Armbruster. He had that bad last play last series where he kind of got stumbled up and had to turn the ball over. But good job there going back to him. A big first down there for the Aggies.
1st and 10 at the 49-yard line for the Aggies. Down by 2 with just over 5 minutes left here in the 4th quarter of play. Back in the shotgun now is Bodie Hyde, the freshman quarterback. He hands it off to Mott. Mott finds a little bit of room up the middle and gets it into Trojan territory.
Seemed like a lot of work. He was cutting and juking and driving and making all these moves, only to pick up a couple yards, but that's the ability that this timeout has for these Aggies.
A gain of 3 yards on that play. It's 2nd and 7 now. Inside Trojan territory at the 48-yard line, but more importantly, that clock continues to run down at 4:35 now left in the 4th quarter of play. Hyde gets the snap, hands it off to Mott. Mott looking for room up the middle, but there's a nice stop, but good leg movement there by Mott. He was initially hit by Gavin Smith Crandall, number 72.
Great job grabbing him from the back and bringing him down, preventing it from a first down.
But Ty Mott able to lunge forward and get the ball down to about the 38-yard line.
3rd and short here. Let's see if Alexander can hold them here. And definitely 2-down territory.
3rd and 2 now. And as Dan said, if they don't make it here, they will definitely be going for it. An hour under 4 minutes. Bodie Hyde under center. One receiver split out to the right. Armbruster in motion. There's the handoff to Mott and a great stop in the backfield by number 53, Clayton Beason. So another big defensive stop by Beason and the Trojans.
You've been calling Beason's name all day. He's been making critical plays there. Huge stop there on 3rd down. And now we see what they call here on 4th down for the Aggies. What a stop.
A loss of 3 for Ty Mott, and that'll push the ball 4th and 6 now. They need to get the ball down to the 36-yard line for a first down. Let's see what they draw up here with the clock running at 3:20 on the Gerace Realty scoreboard, and they are down 9-7. And Bodie Hyde coming up now.
Play clock's down to 10, so we got to hurry up here for the Aggies.
Hyde looking to draw that. He almost drew him off sides. There's the pitch to Mott on the left side. And Mott dragged down by Devin Dean. And the Trojans are going to take over on downs after a couple yards by Ty Mott.
A little surprised they went with the pitch there and didn't try something through the air with a Hyde, but Mott did all he could to try to get a first down there and just dragged up. Good tackle there by the Trojans defense.
2 tremendous plays by the Trojan defense to stop the Aggies in their tracks. And now the Trojans have 3 minutes left to try to maintain this precarious 2-point lead, 9-7.
Probably going to see a lot of Woods here on this series. You got to run that clock and make the Aggies use those timeouts.
I'm looking at the Gerace Realty scoreboard, and the Aggies still have 3 timeouts left, so they can start using them. There's Kramer now up the middle. Doesn't want to risk a handoff.
Well, I think he's been their most effective runner today. I mean, no offense to Woods, but Kramer's been having the big run on the sideline last quarter, so he's been their most effective runner with the football.
He's able to gain 4 yards on that play, and the clock will continue to run. And as I mentioned, the Aggies have 3 timeouts that they can use.
And take your time here if you're the Trojans. You know, you don't got to go up to the line of scrimmage yet. You got plenty of time on that play clock. Use as much of that clock as you can. Make them use those timeouts on defense.
2nd and 6 now. And they got a lot of time there on the play clock before they can run the play. But Kramer will take the snap in the shotgun and go up the middle. Ty Corneau in the stop.
Jenkins and company, yeah.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. That was number 54.
One of their big defensive line. We're going to get a timeout here.
Dontrell Jenkins. I miscalled that.
Hard to run against his defense.
So a timeout called by the Aggies.
3rd down and 6 for Alexander here.
And I'm trying to see there, maybe a loss of a yard on the play. As the Aggies are trying to figure out a way to get this ball back with 2:13 left. This timeout brought to you by Valley Jewelers at the clock on Jackson Street in Batavia. Valley Jewelers, Jackson Street in Batavia. So, Dan, once again, we got an upset in the making as the number 4 seeded Alexander Trojans have a 9-7 lead on the strength of 3 field goals by their kicker, Eric Klein.
Not what I was expecting. I've seen this OAE team. I know how dangerous they are on offense and defense with turnovers, and I'm just so impressed with this Alexander defense and what they've shown today. And if they can find a way to run out this clock, they're going to advance, which would be huge for Alexander.
Yeah, we haven't really mentioned it today, but the other semifinal game in Class D is Canisteo Greenwood at Avon. That's the number 2 and 3 seeded team. So the winner of this game will play the winner of that game for the Section 5 Class D championship next week. Here come the Trojans now after the timeout, 2:13 left. And Kramer once again, now he's under center with their backs in the I formation, and there's a false start. Looked like
79,
number 79,
Connor
Thompson, but Devin Dean also moved a little bit, but he may have been drawn off by the movement of Thompson. So the ball moved back to the 37-yard line now, so it'll be 3rd and 12. And actually, a second clicked off the clock there. I'm not sure whether that
shouldn't have. But I wouldn't worry if I'm Alexander. You can still call your same play.
Fakes the handoff. They're going to pass, and he rolls out. No, he decides to keep it. I'm not sure if he should be running out of bounds to stop the clock.
Because now OAE doesn't have to use a timeout, and they can keep it, which is more in their favor.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that play, Dan. So it will stop the clock at 2:04.
Didn't even take a full minute off the clock from that series.
And a loss on the play. So it looks like we're going to have another very, very important punt here.
He's had 2 good punts already so far, so if he can do another one and pin him deep, you got to be careful with that dangerous timeout there back around the 33-yard line.
Devin Dean now with the punt. Getting rushed hard, but he's able to get it off and able to get it away from timeout, and the ball will land out of bounds at about the 36-yard line. And the Elba Aggies have 64 yards to go, or possibly get themselves in field goal position to try to win this game with less than 2 minutes left on the Gerace Realty scoreboard.
It's a good punt, good starting field position. I think you keep the ball away from Mott on that punt. You got 2 timeouts if you're OAE. You can easily, maybe you get into field goal range, but you have plenty of time. Run the ball, use your skill players to your advantage, and see if you can march down the field and take the lead here.
Okay, and as you mentioned, Dan, Alexander was only able to use 1 minute of
not even a full minute
time on that last drive. So there's Hyde now, hands the ball off to timeout. There's timeout up the middle, but a big saving play there by number 2, Maverick Bump.
Shoestring tackle there to keep it. If he doesn't make that tackle, Mott is in the end zone right now with a touchdown. What a huge stop there by Bump.
Without question there. That's a 15-yard gain there by Mott, and it's 1st and 10 at the 49-yard line. There's a handoff now. That's Armbruster. Armbruster up the middle, and he's hit. But he gets close to the first down at about the 37-yard line, 38-yard line.
They just come at you with so many different players, whether it's Mott or Armbruster coming. They can just fly out of the backfield and get that second level. They're so strong and so fast.
2nd and 2 at the 38-yard line. The clock moving. Alexander ahead 9-7 over Oakfield, Alabama, Elba. And Bodie Hyde now positions Armbruster on the left side. There's a handoff to timeout. Timeout up the middle. Stacked up by the Alexander defense.
Great defense to stop there by the Trojans.
Number 56, Matthew Jason on the stop.
Got to keep him to short yardage. That's a good stop to the Trojans defense.
And it looks like a timeout has been called.
Oh, they're measuring.
Oh, no,
okay.
They're going to measure. I'm sorry.
Yeah, they're going to measure.
So they push the Aggies away from the line of scrimmage so that they can measure. Based on what we see here, Dan, it definitely looks like they have first down yardage.
Yeah, I don't blame them for measuring to be sure it's close. But from our advantage, it looks like a first down.
We're going to measure if this is a first down. If it's good, it's a first down. Obviously, if not, it's going to be 3rd and a couple inches.
There's looks like the OAE sideline saying first down for sure.
And it is a first down, so 4 fresh downs now for the Aggies with 1:04 left on the Gerace Realty scoreboard. 1st and 10 at the 41-yard line. Bodie Hyde now in the shotgun, waiting for the snap with 2 receivers out to the right. He'll take it to the right side, and a big tackle. Let's see who is that.
was Jacob Laney breaking
Number
through.
7, Jacob
breaking
Laney.
through and bringing down Hyde in the backfield.
And now-
What a play. And we get timeout by
Now
OAE.
a timeout. Let's take a 30-second timeout. You're listening to high school football on WBTA and the Varsity Media Sports Network.
Seconds left in regulation of the 2021 Section 5 Class D semifinals.
You're watching the Varsity Media Sports Network, the home for New York high school sports.
42-yard line. What a game. Trojans have their full allotment of timeouts. They got their 3. Aggies still have 1 to work with.
Welcome back, everyone. Paul Spiata and Dan Drummy here at Vendetta Stadium, and we certainly have a thriller here. With 55 seconds left in the fourth quarter, the 4th-seeded Alexander Trojans have a 9-7 lead over the number 1-seeded Oakfield, Alabama Elba Aggies. But the Aggies are on the move as they're inside Trojan territory. They have a 2nd and 11 at the 42-yard line. And the freshman quarterback, Bodie Hyde, now under center. He's got Ty Mott in the backfield. He's got 2 receivers split out to the left, and there's a handoff to Ty Mott. Mott looking for room on the right side, but he's pushed out of bounds. Let's see where they mark the ball.
36-yard line there, near side.
So a gain of 5 for Mott, maybe 6 yards for Mott.
He's able to get out of bounds, so you don't got to use your timeouts either.
So about the 35-yard line now, so a 3rd and 5 right now.
48.9 seconds left.
For the Aggies, 48.9 seconds reads the Gerace Realty scoreboard.
So who's going to be the next person to make a big play? Is it going to be offense or defense?
And kind of curious as to whether they're going to stick with Mott or maybe do a play fake here and pass. They have 1 receiver split out to the left side as Bodie Hyde takes the snap, hands it off to Ty Mott. He's got no room.
Wow.
And who is that, Dan? That's
That
number
is Nick Kramer. Again, tackling
Nick
Mott in the
Kramer.
backfield. He's doing it all today for this deep Trojan defense. What a play.
So Nick Kramer having a great game
Timeout.
both on offense and defense. And once again, there's a timeout. Dan will keep it right here. 40.7 seconds left. And a huge 4th down play coming up.
And you said it coming into this game, this Alexander defense came to play, and they are. And this is the play right here. What do you call? Who makes the play for the Aggies? Is it Mott? Is it Armbruster? Is it going to be Hyde? Is it going to have a run? Who's going to make the deciding play here? Or is somebody on defense for the Trojan defense? We just saw Kramer there. Who's it going to be?
I mean, what a great job by the Alexander coaching staff with their defensive philosophy on what they needed to do to stop Ty Mott. He has had a couple of open runs, but for the most part, he's been shut down based on the way that they've been keying him every time he runs the ball. And now with a 4th and let's call it about 7, maybe 6 yards. Actually, the scoreboard says 4th and 7 at the 37, so we'll call that correct. I know this is an understatement, but this is the play of the game. Bodie Hyde now in the shotgun. 2 receivers split out to the left, and Hyde backs up. He's getting pressured. There's a pass over the middle to Armbruster, and a great catch by Armbruster. He's dropped by number 1, Jay Morrison, but the drive continues with a 22-yard reception. Hyde to Armbruster. The clock is running.
Makes it. They got to spike the ball here.
30 seconds left with the clock running. Hyde now. He'll spike the ball to stop the clock.
What a play by Armbruster.
They have no timeouts left.
Great play by Armbruster. He kind of went down the seams, down the sidelines there. He was in the middle of the field, and Hyde found him. He had pressure coming in his face, and he hit Armbruster, and he spikes the ball there to make it 2nd down and 10 from the 15. So 28 seconds.
Freshman quarterback Bodie Hyde with a 22-yard pass completion to junior Gage Armbruster. And the season remains alive for the number 1 seeded Aggies as Bodie Hyde brings it to the line of scrimmage. He's under center with Ty Mott in the back and 2 receivers split out to the left. There's Ty Mott at the 15-yard line, gets down to the 10. He's hit big there by, once again, 21, Connor Hollins.
Good stop there, or else that's might be a touchdown.
19 seconds left on the clock moving as they have no timeouts left. Here's Hyde. He'll spike it again, so that's going to bring up 4th down.
And 13 seconds on the clock.
I'm a little curious on that call, Dan. I probably would have tried some type of a pass in the end zone if it's incomplete.
Well, I think they want to use their power. The power's running the ball. They want to. I understand your reason.
They're going to try a field goal.
Oh.
Okay, so Max Demare now out on the field for a game-winning field goal.
We shouldn't be surprised. We've seen field goals all day.
Zach Howard now will come
out
and be the holder, and the ball was going to be marked at the 17-yard line. So we got a 27-yard field goal attempt coming up here to win the game.
We shouldn't be surprised. We saw field goals all day from Klein, from Alexander, and now they're going to try to reverse the fortune with the Aggies here.
Yeah, I have to admit, I totally forgot about the scenario where they could bring on Demare and try for the game-winning field goal.
I wasn't thinking that either. I was thinking touchdown.
So 13 seconds left on the Gerace Realty scoreboard as the Alexander Trojans call timeout to try to figure out a way to stop this field goal from getting through the uprights.
They just mentioned down the PA that Avon wants the winner gets to face Avon next week for the championship.
Okay, so this is what it boils down to.
The game's right here.
Zach Howard is the holder. Max Demare, the kicker. Ball spotted at the 17-yard line. So it's going to be a 27-yard attempt. And we've seen 3 successful field goals thus far today already, all by Alexander's Eric Klein. Can Max Demare get the Oakfield, Alabama Elba Aggies to next week's game against Avon?
Well, he made the extra point earlier, so shouldn't shy away from this kick.
It all boils down to this. 13 seconds left. Everybody getting into position, including the officials. This can't be good for Demare here, this delay.
No.
And here we go. Okay, so Peyton Yassis is the snapper. Zach Howard the holder. Max Demare the kicker for a 27-yard attempt. There's the snap. And it's blocked by number 24, Devin Dean. And recovered. And a block by 24, Devin Dean. And that will send the Alexander Trojans to next week's championship game against Avon.
Wow, what a play. Dean's been making big plays all day for this defense. He's fired up on the sidelines right now with the rest of his teammates. What a play.
So they were able to break through the offensive line and get in for the block. Demare really didn't have a chance there.
It's kind of a high snap, too, but Curley couldn't get elevation on the kick, and just a great stop by the Trojans defensive Dean.
There's no blame there for the kicker.
No.
He really didn't have any time to get that kick off as Dean and another player who I didn't see who that was.
I think maybe Morrison was in there as well, number 1.
But Dean with the block. And with this kneel down, that should put Alexander into next week's Class D Section 5 championship game against Avon. And there it is.
Wow.
Nick Kramer takes the snap and the kneel, and Alexander Trojans will celebrate as the number 4 seeded Alexander Trojans defeat number 1 Oakfield, Alabama Elba Aggies 9-7. Dan, what a great game.
What a great game. I mean, just all around. Great pressure on both sides, and the defense came to play. What a great defensive game plan by the Trojans. And give credit to Tim Sawyer. He really had his team ready to go today and finding a way to shut down this high-powered offense.
We're going to take a 1-minute break and come back with our TF Browns post-game show. You're listening to high school football on WBTA and Varsity Media Sports Network.
We want to thank everyone for doing their part in these challenging times.
No matter where we work from, we're still here protecting you and your family's rights.
We want you to know that we will always be here for you and your family.
Using our technology so we can protect you and your family no matter where we are.
Connors and Ferris, your workers' comp attorneys.
Looking for a great way to commemorate this season's sectionals? Section 5 Athletics is excited to work with Mugs and More to offer a variety of apparel options for each sport and each season. Items include graphics specifically developed to feature the sport and year, including items such as hoodies, hats, pants, and more. Apparel for each season is available for a limited time, so don't miss your chance. Visit section5.org/mugsandmore to see the many options and place your order today.
Varsity Media is the tri-state area's leader in sports media production. We specialize in live streaming.
Gargiulo over the middle. He's got a man. It's complete. And Ciolino. See you later. Touchdown, Massapequa.
Videography. And photography. Covering all sports at all levels. We feature aerial photography and videography, college recruiting videos, live streaming of games.
Top of the key, Smith. Why not? Wow. Bang! McKee, first down and more. Charlie McKee. Touchdown, Oceanside.
School events, graduations. Varsity Media is available to cover a game, a tournament, a season, or any special event.
Talk to us a little bit about what went through your mind, how you prepared for that to run such a fast speed.
Currently, spectators are limited at events. Let Varsity Media bring the event to your fans. Contact Varsity Media today for more information. Online at varsitymedia.net.
Nothing lead. The Oakfield, Alabama Elba Aggies were able to get the ball back on the subsequent drive, and freshman quarterback, that is, Bodie Hyde, was able to scamper up the sideline for a 58-yard touchdown run, the only touchdown that we had today, and the Aggies led 7-3 after the first quarter. Trojans came back with a 23-yard field goal by Klein late in the first half to get the score to 7-6, and that's where we stood at halftime. No scoring in the third quarter as the defenses stood tough on both sides of the ball, but in the fourth quarter, Alexander's Klein came out and kicked a big 36-yard field goal, which looked like it had about a yard or so over the bar to make it.
Barely got it over the post there.
But it was good, and it gave them a 9-7 lead. And then our last play of the game with 13, not the last play, but second to the last play of the game with 13 seconds left, Max Demare lined up for a 27-yard field goal, but Devin Dean was able to break through the line and block the field goal attempt, and Alexander was able to kneel on the ball for the last play of the game, and a 9-7 victory. And they will move to the finals next week. I'm not sure the date and time. I believe the location will be at Avon, but congratulations to the Alexander Trojans.
What a game. That was incredible.
Fantastic game, and we hope that we have another fantastic game coming up later today as the Newark Reds, the number 3 seeded Class B Newark Reds, come here to Vendetta Stadium to play the number 2 seeded and undefeated Batavia Blue Devils. The Blue Devils beat the Reds earlier this season, 28-20, in a very competitive game. Bob Brown and Jay Moran will be on that call, so we're hoping that you'll join us for that. But we do have a big decision here as part of our TF Browns post-game show, and that is the naming of our TF Browns Player of the Game. We mentioned several players on both sides of the ball. Bodie Hyde had a great game for the Aggies. He ran the ball well. He passed the ball well, including a big pass to Armbruster to get them in field goal range. Nick Kramer played a fantastic game. Devin Dean we called several times.
You could even say the kicker Klein.
B. Zion we called several times. But we decided that as a result that the scoring for Alexander was done by 3 successful field goals by the kicker Eric Klein. Congratulations to number 9 Eric Klein. He is our TF Browns Player of the Game. Our TF Browns Player of the Game brought to you by TF Browns. If it happens in sports, it happens at TF Browns. We don't get a chance to call out the kicker's name too often, so we're very pleased that Eric Klein is our TF Browns Player of the Game. Well, Dan, it was a pleasure working with you.
Thank you for having me. You
Did
too.
Did a great job today.
Thank
I hope you continue in this field.
Hope so.
It's nice to finally have a close game to call.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, several of the games have been blowouts, and at some point in time, it's very difficult to call games when the score is so lopsided.
Yep.
But I want to thank Dan Fisher for coming here to the stadium to set us up in this great venue here at Vendetta Stadium. I want to thank Jeff Donahue down at the station for running the board today. Thanks a lot, Jeff. And I want to thank you, the listeners, for listening to High School Sports on WBTA. You're always welcome, and I hope you join us for the 6 o'clock game, Batavia versus Newark. And I want to thank our sponsors for always sponsoring high school football on WBTA.